Just drop the weight, okay?
Just drop the weight. You don't need the weight, it still work. It's just for, as you get older, you get stiffer. The weight can help to open you up a little bit. Now,
come here. Come on. There. No pulling.
Now, stay low and just little pulses. Stay low. This is what will start to get the muscle working at the lowest range. And rest. Okay, so now, up to you how wide you take your legs, but you bend into one leg, and come up, bend into the other leg. Okay? In 3.
So toes facing forward now.
Toes facing forward, yeah, that's it. Good. Ready, and go for it. So on the one side, picking up, back through the middle. And try and keep that head over your shoulders, shoulders over the hips. Now we're going to pick one side only to pulse, okay? So ready, start pulsing one side. That's it. Okay, come up, over the other side. And other side, and pulse. Rest. And nice little shake. Okay. Now you want to do a narrow squat or a yoga squat. Now the way you hold the weight is up to you. The way I hold the weight is like this, but if you want to hold it a different way, you can. But it's just so I can go lower. Okay, if you can't go that low, this is going to open up your Achilles tendon for the weight in question. Okay, ready, and go for it. So down, that's it, and low. Now, Jay, try and bring your feet a little bit closer together. As it says, just wider than your hips. You won't be good. That's it, good. And don't forget to breathe. Next one, stay down, and just little tiny pulses. What you can do is you can rock forward and rock back. Little pulses, we'll bring the weight deeper, side to side, whichever movement you want, but stay low in the stretch and feel your Achilles tendons and calves working. Rest. You put the weight away now. That's fine. So, we're looking now
Side, that's it.
at a yoga sort of way of opening up the hips. Specifically, Warrior 2. Warrior 2 is the most like our front stance, and it can help us out. So again, we're going to turn it into like a workout, like sets, so you can see the benefits, okay? So we're actually going to do a total of 3 sets each side. By the 3rd set, your legs will feel quite like they've had a workout, but that's the idea, okay? And this is without weight, okay? But it's just simply coming up and down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the blocks here in front of my 2 feet. This first time, don't worry about how far your feet are apart, but each time you go through the routine, you're going to try and make your feet a little bit wider, okay? So I turn to my Warrior 2, okay? And now, what I'm going to do is, as I bring my hands together, I'm going to straighten. As I bring my arms down, I'm going to bend. Okay, so I'm going to do about 5 of these with my breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now on the 5th one, on this first one, I'm going to lean out over my leg and bring my arm over for what's called extended side angle. Now if you're doing this correctly, your knees should be in line with your heels and your top arm should be in line with it. That's it. So try and turn back like you're against. Okay, good. Now come up. Now in between we're going to fold to the front to get a nice hamstring stretch. And in this little hamstring stretch we're going to take this sort of mantra of 2 hands to 1 foot. Deep breath. 2 hands to the other foot. 2 hands forward. And 2 hands through the legs. Okay, come up. And then turn to the other side. I'm going to do all that on the other side. So as you breathe in, arms up. As you breathe out, going down. Breathing in. Good. 3. 4. Try and focus on something so you don't lose your balance. Okay, if you look around the room, trust me, I try and watch people that I lose my balance. And lean over the side to extend the side angle. That's it. Okay, good. And come up. And if that was easy first time, take your legs a little bit wider. So stretch forward. You get your forearms to the floor maybe, forearms to blocks. And take the hands to one side, breath in, around. Take the hands to the other side. In. Out. Hands all the way forward. Try and get a straight line from the hips to the fingertips. And then hands through the middle of the legs. Maybe your hips go back a little bit. Okay, cool. And that was set 1. So coming back up. We're going to look to this side now. Now this time, we could do that same exercise again that we did, but just a different exercise in Warrior 2 is I'm in my Warrior 2 and like a clock, I tip forward to the block or to the floor and then lift myself up. So the only thing that's moving is my chest, my legs stay completely still. And your legs will start to burn, okay? So trying to keep everything still, just turn at the hips, okay? Ready? 1. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Now we're going to tip back for a warrior, reverse warrior, sorry. And then, only if it's available for you, bring your hand down to the floor of the block and do a more extreme version of extended side angle. If you feel your arm coming forward like this, come back up onto your leg, okay? Try and keep everything in line and just chill out here and feel your hips opening up. Good, come up. Now again, if you're able to, take your legs out a little bit further and fall forward. So you can get your forearms, you can get your head to roll above. Walk your hands over to one side. Walk over to the other side. Walk the hands forward. And then walk the hands through the legs. Bring them in. And all those on the other side. So find your warrior two first. Okay. Arms out. And start to tip forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then reverse warrior. And if you can, tip forward onto a block of the floor. Bend that front leg back. That's it, extend it. It's still a variation of extended side leg. You should really feel it now on your inner groin, on that bent leg. Okay, and come up. Again, legs out, folding forward. Arms to one side. Arms to the other side. Arms forward. Arms through the legs. Okay, last set, I promise. Again, we could do those same stretches again. All we're going to do is we're going to be out in a triangle pose now. We're going to try and tip forward, touching the leg, the block, in front of the leg or behind the leg, up to you.
Straight leg.
Straight leg now for triangle pose, okay? So tipping, feel the hamstring working now. Still the hip. 2, 3, 4, 5, bend the knee, tip for reverse warrior. Now this one looks like a Cossack squat. I only learned it relatively recently. It's called rainbow warrior. So if you bend the other leg now and grab your opposite ankle. Now you might not be able to do this stretch at the moment, but when you can, you know your flexibility is improving. Okay, come up. And this time I'm going to do my deeper side angle pose. Hand to the back. Now you might need to put a block behind you to get there. That's going to feel quite intense. Come up. Last time, legs as wide as they can go now. Hands over to one side. Hands over to the other side. Hands to the middle. through the legs. Stand up. Last one now, straight legs. The triangle pose. Pivot forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then bend your knee for reverse warrior. And then rainbow warrior. And then come up. Deepest expression of your side ankle now. Hand on the floor, block. Wherever's your extreme. And have a sit down. So your legs should be absolutely on fire now. So what we're going to do now is work the hips. So this again is a long sequence, but it's one that's easy to measure whether you're improving or not. So feet are wider than the hips, hands behind you. Try and keep your shoulders and back still, and rock your feet one side to the other, windscreen wipers. That's it. Try and keep your upper body as still as possible so only your legs and your hips are moving. It's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, as you turn one way, you're going to make sure your feet are in this 90-90 position. Now, if you can't sit upright over your leg like this, make sure your hip is underneath the block. So you can sit up, okay? So we're going to do push-ups now. Folds over our front leg, okay? And 10. Put your hand on your knee, and you're going to try and lift your knee off the floor for 5 seconds. Okay? Ready? And lift. Now try and push your knee through the ground. Ready? Push the knee down the ground. So the front knee here. So try and push this one through the floor. So now, if you can, take your hands forward of your shin. If you can't, just put them on blocks. So let's do that again. Let's push the knee through the floor, pushing through the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then put a hand on the front knee and lift for 5. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now if you're feeling more open, put your forearms down to the floor. And again, push the knee through the floor. Lift that knee up off the floor. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to turn towards that heel and very gently, very slowly start to lie back. You can't go any further, stay there, but maybe you can get your forearms onto the floor.
The idea to pin that
all the way back.
thigh down, Gus.
What's that?
Is the idea for this to stay down as much
Yeah,
as
as
possible?
much as possible. So you should feel like a very strange stretch in the front of your hip. Okay. Now come up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to face forward over this leg and lift that back heel up like a tail. Okay, we're going to lift it up for 10 seconds 3 times. So lifting. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And relax. Yeah, I forgot to say, if it cramps up, that's meant to say it's a good thing. Okay?
There we are, Joe.
And lifting up again. Ready, lift. Yeah, and relax. And one more time, lift. Good. Now you're going to face forward again. And this time we're going to try and lift this knee all the way over. It won't go all the way over, but we're going to try. Okay, 10 times. Ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And turn over to the other way. You right, Bex? Sorry, no worries, that's fine, that's fine. Okay, so sit again. You should be able to sit over. Your two hips might not be equal, so if you need to put a block under this hip, that's fine. Okay, but 90-90 and folding over 10 push-ups. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. If you can get lower, start to go lower now. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now try and push that knee through the floor. Pushing down. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax. Now try and put your hand on the knee and try and lift it up. Ready? Lifting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then take your hands forward. And again, push the knee down to the floor. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And try and lift that knee off the floor. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last time, try and put your elbows down to the floor and push the knee through the floor. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, try and lift that knee off the floor, put the hand on top of it. Ready? Lifting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. And then turn towards that back heel, and then try and start to lie back away from your front foot. Come back up. Now we're going to try and lift that, face the front foot, try and lift that back foot off the floor. Lift up for 10 seconds like a tail, okay? And lifting up. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Relax. Oh, yes. And lifting. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and drop. And then one more time, and lift as high as you can. Ready, lifting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. And then face front again. And we're going to lift this back knee off the floor. Okay? So ready to lift. Ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. High as you can. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. And just because we've worked the hips a lot, just give them a little hug.
Give them a hug.
Give them a hug.
You can feel better.
Yeah. TLC. Now, usually, and this is part of the stretching class, I would do some conditioning. But again, as is Christmas, and I want to show you some stretches that you can do every day. And in a bigger stretching class, I wouldn't be able to do this, but as we have only a few people, is like 2 people to a wall, so we can do this little wall stretch. Just change your leg. So the idea about this wall stretch is good for 2 reasons. One is it's very relaxing, so it's good to get your body in a relaxed state. The second thing is that because gravity is doing the work for you, there's no tension as you're stretching. Usually as we do these extreme sort of poses, there's lots of tension there. So these are the stretches against the wall. A lot of you have done them before, but if you haven't, I'm going to do them with you, but if you can't see me very well, I'll do my best to describe it, okay? So what you need to do is find yourself a space on a wall, and you need room.
Jane, Emma, take that side and back.
You need room for your legs to fall down either side of you. So try not to go too close to anyone or a pillar. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit my hips right next to the wall. So sort of sitting next to it like this. Okay? Very important you have your hips next to it, okay? So now I'm going to point my feet
face the other
up.
way back so that like you're like that to roll the legs over. That's it.
Okay. Now these stretches are going to be a minute each, so I'm just going to set the timer. The first one is just pointing your toes and curling your toes. Okay. So when you curl your toes, try and push your calves into the wall. Okay. This is going to be a nice release for your calves and your hamstrings. Okay. So plantar flex and dorsiflex your toes. Very, very simple, but this one's like really good for you. If you can do this one every day, if you have the time in the day to do this, it's a good one to do every day.
This is good for your calves, yes or no?
Yeah, very good for your calves and your lower back and your hamstrings. Because what you're doing is you're flossing the muscles in the back of your body, which often get very tight because they take the brunt of all our stress. If you think about when you go for a full body massage, most of it is on your front because they're manipulating most of the things on your back, your calves, your hamstrings, your back, your neck, your shoulders. All your back takes the brunt of everything we do. So if we can lie like this and take all the pressure off it, that's fine. Now you're going to take your legs out as wide as you can and bring them back in. If they feel very, very comfortable out wide, you can always leave them there.
Also, Bex, this is called an inversion, and in yoga terms, it's quite good for draining toxins. So going upside down almost just shakes up toxins in the body.
There's a couple of toxins for Christmas that you do.
There we are.
Christmas toxins.
It's Christmas toxins.
This is nice to do.
But it is very relaxing.
I wouldn't be it. It's my back, as I said, it's my lower back has been twingy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, these are all good because it just moves about all those muscles. Now what you're going to do is just let the legs chill out here for 30 seconds.
Can you see those pins that are loose on the roof?
Yeah.
I'm directly above my head.
Just thinking for us, Bobby's that be a needle death, isn't it?
Well, I don't know if they do any serious damage, to be honest, Bex. They're a bit flimsy.
And now put your feet together for a butterfly stretch. Now feel free to stay there, or if you want to push your knees away from you closer to the wall, you can. For a deeper stretch. Now for this next one, you're going to take both feet against the wall and raise your hips. Then wrap one leg over the top a figure 4, then sit your hips back down. It's a great outer hip stretch. And again, it's intensified by having your foot against the wall lower, or your hips lower to the floor, will make it more extreme. Now, start to push the knee away from you at the top. Then take your hands up in the T and start to walk your foot out to the side so your top foot turns onto the floor for a lower back stretch. Change. Push the top knee away from you. Then start to walk the foot over, hands out the T, and twist. Yeah,
Yes, that's it.
But walk that foot along. Walk that foot along the wall, and twist. That's it. Okay, and rest, go off the wall. Okay. I'm going to come back in. I'll show you the best test to see whether your hips are opening or not. So if you sit on your pad, or sit on your block like this in hero pose. Okay. Hey Josh, nice to see you. You okay?
Merry Christmas.
Right, now, can you sit on your block like this? Sit back. Sit. Okay? No worries.
Not on your knee. No. If
Sorry,
it
sorry.
causes, yeah, if it causes your knee.
What
issues,
about
don't
taking
do
the
it.
knees out wide? Will that make it easier for you? Okay, right. Now, watch. This is where I'm telling you that from my own stretching, this is how I improved, okay? So, for example, if you go out into your frog pose now, this will make it very difficult to sit back on that block that you were just sitting on somewhat easily, okay? So you can do it two ways. You can either rock back and sit down like this, or if you want to make it more extreme, don't use your hands, okay? Now, years ago, I couldn't sit down at the block, but now I'm sitting on the block. Not very comfortably, but I've sat down. And Jess can do it easy, okay? So take your heels out, Jess. Heels out, that's it. Now try and sit on it. That's it, yeah? Okay, don't hurt yourself though. So that's a real test to see if your hips are opening or not, okay? If you can sit down lower and lower and lower, okay? So slowly come out of that. What we're going to do is we're going to do a couple of hip open stretches on your back that also, Bex, relieve your back, okay? So number one thing is to take your heels just outside your hips and just lower your knees together, okay? So it's a nice easy one. And again, you can start with hands to the side or hands in what's called cactus pose. And just breathe. Now, like we did earlier, you can take your knees out and bring them in. So just do 10 of those, okay? So take the knees out as far as they go. They won't go very far because your hips will stop it, but you just open them up on your back. 3. And then again, like earlier, take your knees side to side, just moving them. And then when they're over one side, leave them over there. And if you like to make it a bit more extreme, hook the bottom leg over the top heel as you twist. And up, and go the other way. Come up and reach out for your heels for Happy Baby. Just rock side to side. Seems like a really silly stretch, but it's really, really good for releasing tension in the back and opening up your hips. Now slowly start to straighten one leg as you bend the other. Both knees and do circles into out. Change direction. Slowly take the legs out, let the feet point out, arms point out, and lie in Shavasana for a couple of breaths. Deep breath in, and slowly out. Slowly roll over to your side and roll up. No problem. Let me know if it helps. Yeah. There's just a couple of ideas on how to help the hips using the weights, using the reps. Reps help, and the wall helps as well. So just some ideas for you.
Wall's a good one for your back as well.
Yeah. But just moving it, you know, most people's backs are stiff because
like
they don't use it.
sofa or something, doesn't have to be a...
That means